So we just need to stop calling it a retirement plan. In fact, I hate that term, but that's the term that the industry uses, and that's the term that's most familiar with people. But I'll tell you why we shouldn't call it a retirement plan, because it's depressing. That's why. So for many people, the thought of retirement is happiness and joy and full of possibilities. But for 1 in 3 Americans, according to a WebMD article called Emotional Shock of Retirement, they feel depressed and they feel sad and they feel anxious. And so the term or the definition of retirement is one to retreat or to withdraw. And so if you think about what retirement is, it's withdrawing from active work, it's withdrawing from society, it's retreating from the things that you used to do. And that's not a very positive thought. That's not a very invigorating thought going into something that's going to last potentially 30 years of your life. And it's kind of funny because when we're in our 20s and we do a financial plan, we don't call it a young person's plan or a beginner plan. And when you're in your 30s and your 40s, we don't call it a working towards the prime of your life plan. And when we reach our 50s, we don't call it a peak earning years plan. But all of a sudden we hit our 60s and we call it a retirement plan, something that may last for our 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and potentially hundreds. We may be 30, 40, or 50 years into what people call retirement. And we know that the way that a person feels and that a person acts and the goals that people have in their 60s are different than those of their 70s. And when you're in your 80s, your goals are going to be different than they were in their 70s and 60s and 90s and 100s and so on. So to call it a retirement plan and kind of lump everything in to that term, to me, is a big mistake. So let's stop calling it a retirement plan. Let's call it for what it is, because everyone's retirement looks different. Why don't we just call it a continuation of your financial plan, right? So it's different goals, modified goals, but it's still a comprehensive financial plan. And so if we could lend a term from Star Wars, it's a new chapter of your life. In fact, it's chapter 4 of Star Wars, which is called The New Hope. It's the chance to do things throughout those decades that you didn't get to do while you were working full-time in your career. It may be going back to college. It may be starting a new business. It may be spending more time with family and grandkids. It may be traveling much more frequently. A lot of different things. But it doesn't mean retreating or withdrawing from society. So because the concept of retirement is different for so many people, I just wanted to give you kind of an idea of what things look like from a goal standpoint. So when you're working, you're looking at your income from your career, and in retirement, you're looking at income from your Social Security and your investments. During your working years, you're often looking at purchasing a house. In your retirement years, you may be looking at purchasing a house, but it may be a vacation home, or it may be downsizing to a different home since you don't need that much space anymore, or it may be helping your kids buy a home. It may be from college planning for your kids to college planning for yourself or your grandkids. It could be things like risk management, whereas when you were working, it was risk management and making sure you had disability insurance in case you got hurt and weren't able to earn an income from your primary career. And in retirement, it's long-term care insurance, which will take care of you should you need help and assistance as you get older. It's that retirement years are different as you go through the decades, just as different as the years before what we call retirement. And so I would just prefer if we called it a financial plan, just a financial plan, from the time that you're in your 20s and you need the plan to the time that you're in your 80s or 90s. Just makes sense. So let's just call it for what it is, a comprehensive lifetime financial plan.